Okay, so everyone is talking about War II. It is absolutely set up to be the biggest action movie of the year. But, if you peel back all that hype, the reviews are telling a really interesting, kind of mixed story. So today, we're going to break down this big paradox. Is this movie a must-see spectacle, or is it kind of a letdown on the story front?
Right, so this is the big question that keeps coming up. Is War II all about amazing, mind-blowing action that's just being held back by a weak story? It really feels like a movie of two halves. You've got these incredible highs, but also some pretty frustrating lows. Let's get into it.
All right, first things first, what's the story even about? Before we jump into what works and what really doesn't, let's just set the scene. At its core, Warzone 2 is a classic spy thriller. We're talking a high-stakes cat-and-mouse game that's playing out all across the globe.
So the whole conflict really boils down to these two guys. On one side, you've got Kabir, played by the one and only Hrithik Roshan. He's this brilliant former agent who has now gone rogue. And who's sent to hunt him down? Vikram, an elite officer played by Jr NTR, making his big Hindi debut. It's that classic setup, right? An unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
Okay, so let's talk about the good stuff. What did this film get right? According to the reviews, there are some things War II just absolutely nails. The kind of pure, dazzling moments that really make a blockbuster feel like a blockbuster.
The reviews seem to point to three huge strengths. First up, just raw star power. Apparently, when Hrithik Roshan and Jr NTR are on screen together, it's just electric. They completely command your attention. Second, the action. We're talking massive scale here. Think intense aerial dogfights, crazy train chases, the whole shebang. And finally, the production value. This movie looks expensive, in a good way. It's shot in these glamorous locations all over the world. And all of this really boils down to one simple takeaway from the critics. If you're looking for a spectacle, War II is worth watching in theaters. I mean, it was clearly designed to be seen on the biggest screen you can find, and on that level, it totally delivers.
But for all that visual flair, where does the film stumble? Now we get to the other side of the paradox, the weaknesses that are really holding this thing back from being truly great.
So the criticisms here are pretty major. The script is getting called out for being full of cliches, with twists you can see coming a mile away. And at almost 3 hours long, the second half apparently just drags. Even some of the visuals, the VFX and coloring, are being described as a bit weak or just overdone. But maybe the biggest missed opportunity here is Jr NTR's character. The reviews say that despite his great performance, the role just feels underdeveloped because of the writing. What a shame.
So, you've got this incredible action on one hand and these pretty big story problems on the other. What's the final call? Let's see what the reviewer ultimately says you should do.
The final rating lands smack dab in the middle, about 2.5 to 3 stars out of 5. And honestly, that score just perfectly captures the movie's split personality. It's not a total disaster, not by a long shot, but it's definitely not the masterpiece some were hoping for. It's a movie that soars in some moments and really stumbles in others.
So, in the end, the advice is pretty straightforward. You should definitely go see it in a theater if you're just looking for that pure spectacle, the huge action scenes, the star power, that big screen vibe. But if you're someone who really wants a solid story with real characters and emotional depth, the suggestion is maybe just wait for it to pop up on streaming.
And that really leaves us with this final question. For you, what do you value more when you go to the movies? Is it that larger-than-life spectacle you can only get on a giant screen? Or is it the power of a really great story told well? Because with War II, it kind of seems like you have to pit one.